This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Yeah, Machado laces it in the air to deep left. This one gonna go!
Coming up, we'll recap the last Padres game, preview today's starting pitching matchup, give you our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Craig Stammen. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today the Padres take on the Kansas City Royals in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Royals, right-hander Randy Dobnik, and for the Padres, right-hander Griffin Canning. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside our Padres Radio Network studios on this Saturday. First pitch coming up at 1:10 p.m. on the West Coast. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. You'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen, from today's starting catcher Freddy Fermin. We check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. in just a little bit, and much, much more. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today 48-49. They enter the day 3.5 games out of a wild card spot in the National League. Today is game 2 of a 10-game road trip to begin the second half of the season. Royals, meanwhile, are 39-59. They entered this series in the midst of a 5-game losing streak. Well, we had the series opener last night in Kansas City. It turned into a wild one. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Let's begin in the 9th inning. Royals leading 3-2. Padres down to their final out. Ty France dug in.
Grant swings, hits it in the air, deep to left center field. Collins is racing back, looking up. This one, gonna go! Ty France does it again. The Royal Killer comes to KC and ties it up in the 9th. The Padres, down to their final out, have knotted it up 3-3.
KC Killer in Ty France.
We had a 3-3 game going to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Mason Miller came in for the Padres. The Royals loaded the bases with nobody out. Miller struck out 1. He struck out 2. The inning left up to KC's Vinny Pasquantino.
He has gotten Rojas and Thomas. Now 1-2 to Pasquantino. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him to chase a slider in the dirt, and 3 straight strikeouts to leave the bases loaded. Head to the 10th in Kansas City. Somehow, the all-star closer will leave the bases loaded.
Incredible job by Mason Miller. We went to the 10th inning, still tied at 3. Miguel Andujar put the Padres in front.
1-2, and Andujar chops it on the ground right side. That's a fair ball up the line, beyond Pasquantino's reach and into right field. Cronenworth will score, and Andujar slides into second base, his 3rd double of the night, and the Padres are back ahead. It's 4-3.
Padres weren't done. Later in the inning, it was Fernando.
3-1 pitch, and Tatis lines it into right field. That's a base hit. And Andujar can walk home from third. Song trying to go first to third. He will, as the throw goes to second base. And Fernando's 3rd hit of the night, an RBI single to make it 5-3 here in the 10th.
Xander Bogaerts plated another run with a sacrifice fly. Padres led 6-3, 3 runs in the top of the 10th inning. Bottom 10, Kyle Hart came on trying to secure his first major league save. Salvador Perez singled. Michael Massey singled to score the automatic runner in Pasquantino. Nick Lofton dropped down a bunt single. Bases were loaded, nobody out. Isaac Collins then grounded out. That was the first out of the inning, but it brought home a run to make it 6-5, pushed the other 2 base runners to second and third. So Royals had the tying run on third, the winning run on second. Carter Jensen dug in for Kansas City.
Massey at third, the potential tying run. Pitch here, grounded slowly through the left side. That's a base hit. Might win it. Massey has scored. Lofton's on his way. Bowen's throw to the plate is not in time. A 2-run walk-off single for Carter Jensen. And after the Padres got 3 in the top of the 10th inning, Kansas City answers back with 4 in the bottom. And the Royals walk off on a wild night in Kansas City, and they win it 7-6.
A wild night indeed. A tough way for the Padres to begin their 10-game road trip, and now they try to turn the page in the middle game of this series with first pitch coming up in just a little bit at 1:10 p.m. As we get ready for this one, let's go to Kansas City, out to Kauffman Stadium.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Tony, let's begin with what you alluded to in the post-game wrap last night. That was the Padres needing to flip the page quickly after maybe their toughest loss of the season last night in 10 innings. Tony, if you're a Padres player, what's the mentality you have right now trying to flip that page into today?
I think, 20 or less than 25, however many hours it was, 10, 12 hours later, I think you probably are able to kind of get your mind in a good spot, get prepared for this game, knowing that, these games every game from that point on is important. So I think you have no choice. You got to kind of be able to move past yesterday, as tough as that loss was, and try to build on the good things. The offense came alive there late. Hopefully they can do it from, start of the game today and through 9 innings.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the offense, and one guy in particular, start with the bright spot, and that is Ty France, who had another huge moment yesterday. You think about what he did right before the break against Toronto. Big hits in those 2 wins, the game-tying home run in the 9th inning in last night's game. Tony, what has this been like for you to watch Ty France not just show up, seize the opportunity, but have so many big swings for this team? This has really been quite the story.
As a guy that got to watch him in college a lot, it's been quite fun to watch Ty really seize the opportunity, because he really had to go out and take it. I mean, he came into spring training, probably was the guy at the bottom of the totem pole, forced his way onto the roster, and then he wasn't getting a ton of playing time early, forced his way into the starting lineup, and has kind of been the most reliable piece that Craig Stammen has had in terms of, that kind of mix that has been in and out of the lineup. And so it's been quite a thrill to watch Ty not only have success, but watch him go through the daily grind of making adjustments, at bat to at bat. I think he's been a very, very valuable piece to this ball club.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's stay on the offense for a second. Jackson Merrill took an 0 yesterday. You look up, we're getting towards, late July, Tony. The OPS, the average, certainly not where I'm sure Jackson would want it to be. Just to focus on him for today, what are you seeing from Jackson Merrill as we get this second half underway?
It's probably a combination of some mechanics, but, a lot of what I see is Jackson expanding the zone a lot, and he'll have 3 or 4 games where he doesn't do it. He hits the ball on the screws, and then he'll have a game like he did against Gossamy before the break, where he just he has one at bat and it kind of seems to snowball. Yesterday was similar. When Jackson's in the zone, there isn't a whole lot he does wrong, but when he's chasing, and listen, he's looking at that scoreboard every time he walks up to the plate, and he knows that his OPS and his slug and his on base are all down, his average, and so it's human nature to get it there and want to address that. But the process is what this game is all about, and I just think right now, I think a little bit of that scoreboard kind of looking him in his face is probably on his mind, but I also think in terms of what he's doing at the plate, he just has to stay within the strike zone a little bit better. And I think that's not just him. I think that's Gavin as well.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget how young Jackson is too, right? He just turned 23 earlier this season. So long career ahead, hopefully a better second half ahead for Jackson Merrill. Tony, let's talk about Griffin Canning on the mound for the Padres. Obviously, it's been up and down for Griffin, but you look at his last 3 outings or so before the break, they were fairly solid. What did you see from Griffin in those starts, and what will you be looking for here today?
They have been fairly solid, but the length has not been long enough. And I think given how last night went for the Pods, length is going to be the thing that they need from. Listen, the Padres will piece it together. They always do if it doesn't get that far, but it would be a huge help. You probably have to assume Morty Holmes down. And listen, he went 2 because there clearly is a deficit there without Estrada, without Adam trying to bridge it to get to Miller. And so now you're without Morty Holmes today. Hart threw a lot of pitches in his inning. You used Bragley last night. So I just think in terms of if the Padres get a lead and they want to hold it, how are they going to piece it together? I think getting some length out of Griffin today, as good as he has been his last 3, the length part I think is going to be important here in today's ball game.
Yeah, Tony, I'm with you. I feel like we've talked so much about the offense and the starting rotation, and for good reason, but the Padres without Estrada, Adam, and even Morgan, it's been a really big deal for this ball club, right? I mean, they're trying to piece together the right-handed slots in that bullpen, and maybe you take it a little for granted when you have so many great right-handed relievers like the Padres do before those guys went on the IL, but that's a big part of the equation right now, right?
It 100% is, and you don't have the luxury now of having 4 or 5 guys in that pen. If your starter only goes 4 or only goes 5, you don't have that luxury. And after a night like last night, you have even less of a luxury. So it's just going to be incumbent on the Padres offense to get out early and give Griffin some run support, but B, it's going to be incumbent upon Griffin to get beyond 4 and some change. Would love to get beyond 5 and some change, but you'll take 5. But, right now, given where the state of this bullpen is, I know they just had 4 off days, but you can see how fast that can get burnt up in one night.
Tony, good insight as always. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at 1 p.m. as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series. As always, thanks so much.
No problem, Sam.
That was Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. Padres trying to bounce back after a tough loss in 10 innings last night in Kansas City. When we return, we'll take our first look at the Padres lineup today. We'll also hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Much more to do as we get you ready for this one coming up in Kansas City on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10 p.m. in Kansas City. Padres playing game 2 of this 3-game series against the Royals. Here's a look at the Padres lineup today. Looks like this. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off. Jackson Merrill in center batting second. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting third. Manny Machado at third base batting cleanup. Gavin Sheets in left field batting fifth. Ty France at first base batting sixth. Jake Cronenworth at second base batting seventh. Miguel Andujar, the DH today, batting eighth. And Freddy Fermin doing the catching in his former city, Kansas City. Of course, Freddie came up as a Royal. We'll hear from him a little bit later. He's batting ninth. And again, behind the plate with right-hander Griffin Canning making his first start of the second half. As we get ready for this one, let's go to Kansas City and hear from Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Covered Mason Miller. I mean, that was a pretty impressive thing that he did last night, working out of that jam the way that he did it.
Yeah, that was Mason Miller at his peak. Loaded the bases on his own, which isn't at his peak, but then he, unique ability. The great players have the unique ability to just turn it up a notch. When everybody else tries to turn up a notch, they got another notch, and he just showed us what that extra notch looks like last night, and that was it was impressive. It built a ton of momentum for our team, allowed us to score the 3 runs the next inning. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to, pick him up on that last inning.
Yeah, 2 things to follow up on that. I mean, turning it up a notch, a lot of guys try to and think they can, and oftentimes it goes in the wrong direction. I mean, what kind of a skill set is it to be able to actually execute it?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, not everybody can do it, and some people, don't have that. You need to do it the opposite way. I need to turn myself down to be better. But, I think we all saw a little bit of uptick in what was going on out there, and the attitude and the energy and just the competitive spirit that he showed in that inning was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and the other part of it, maybe I should have started with this, but getting himself in trouble in the first place, so unusual. The first extra base hit, he's given up in 200 plate errors or something like that. I mean, sometimes that can actually maybe rattle a guy, but it didn't seem to bother him at all. But what an amazing run that was.
Yeah, amazing. It's like, how does he ever give up a hit? Sometimes is what you're thinking, but he is a normal human just like the rest of us, and people are going to hit a double off of him. They're going to hit an extra base hit off him. It will happen. Eventually, someone will probably hit a home run off of him before his career's over. And one thing I do know about him is how mentally tough he is. He showed it again last night that he can overcome about anything.
Yeah, Miguel Andujar, 3 doubles last night. It seems like he's going well. Maybe streaky at times, but there are the ebbs and flows of the season. But how valuable is he when he's going well?
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that when he gets hot, he stays hot and can carry the offense for a little bit. The at-bat that he had in the extra innings with the guy on second, battling pitches, you could tell he was trying to get to the opposite field to get the runner to third, and just rewarded for a team at-bat right there. Very selfless at-bat, and got a ball down the line and got another double. So, those are the type of at-bats we need consistently throughout the game to help us, go where we need to go.
Ty France, he's been contributing also both sides of the ball. How valuable has he been? How much of a difference does he make on both sides?
Yeah, Ty's had some big hits this year, and last night was another one of them. Didn't end up winning the game, but definitely gave us a chance when we thought we were down and out. Down to our last out, big home run, and he's been taking big at bats. He had a big series in Toronto too. He's a big reason why we were able to win that series.
Xander makes an error yesterday, and it was just so unusual to see it. I started looking at his numbers. That was only the 4th error he's made all season. It's the fewest of any starting shortstop in baseball, the best fielding percentage. I know you don't take it for granted, but does maybe some of his defense get overlooked in what he's doing this year?
Yeah, maybe. I think, we have all these metrics, but the one metric that stayed tried and true to baseball is errors. And him having the least amount at one of the most primary positions is pretty remarkable. It's definitely one of those things shocking when he does make an error because we're just used to him making every play, and he's so good at making the routine play. We never have to worry when a ball's hit to him. We feel like the play is going to get made. So Xander's having a great season. There's just one of those plays. It's going to happen. He bounced back, turned a double play right after that. So, trust Xander with about every ground ball that we can get to him.
Yeah, I know a lot of pitchers, maybe yourself included, would actually prefer the sure-handed guy over the guy that might make the stellar play. How much of it need to have somebody you can depend on over there?
Yeah, dependable players and consistent players are a manager's dream. When when you're putting a guy out at a certain position, you know what you're going to get. That's what you're looking for, and Xander is definitely the epitome of that.
challenges have been going your way, Jim McHugh. Can you talk a little bit about the guys behind the scenes that are helping you make some of these decisions that have really been crucial in some of these games, and also not that easy in a lot of cases?
Yeah, you're right. The video reviews are clearly not up to me. It's on the phone and those guys in the video room deciding, if the play's worth challenging or not, or if we can get it right. And they're very quick at it too. So Jim McHugh, Adam Hunt, Joe McAlpin, Kenny Kirkpatrick, all those guys when we're at home, all those guys are just vital to us having success in those challenge situations. Jim's like a rules expert. So, I talk to him a lot over the phone, and he gives me good advice on the rules and how to talk to the umpires and the challenges and all that kind of stuff. He does a great job for us.
Yeah. Aren't there some cases where it's sort of left up to you, it can kind of be up in the air, and then you have to decide, is it worth using it in that situation, or most of them sort of more black and white?
Yeah, most of them are black and white. We've got a kind of a system that we have set up. Kevin Pilecki answers the phone. He kind of relays it to me. He's usually a yes or no. We haven't had any of those, hey, it's up to you kind of things. I've kind of told Jimmy, I said, don't give me a it's up to me, because I'm always going to do it. I said, you're the one looking at the review. I want you to kind of manage the timing of the game, the situation, if it's worth challenge or not. Trust him in that.
Cool. Bullpen management, such a crucial thing. What can you share with us about Ben Fritz and the job that he's doing out there to keep an eye on guys and make sure they're available, fresh, and everything that goes into that?
Yeah, we like to use our bullpen a lot here, so his job is crucial. I experienced it firsthand as one of his players down there. He's always checking in. He's giving me good advice on who's available, who's kind of feeling it, playing catch. He's very good at reading body language, because all those guys are going to lie and say they're good to pitch, and rightly so. They want the ball. But he knows when the guy needs a day or a second day, and that's kind of helped us keep most of these guys healthy.
You still have Andujar down in the lineup. You had mentioned earlier, I should have moved him up. That was earlier in the year. What's he doing there?
Well, I think the way that we've got it structured right now is we got our four big boys at the top, and we're going to get those guys going. We get those guys going, and then the rest of the guys will, kind of take hold. And I think anytime that we've got guys hot and then moved them up, I've cooled them off really quickly. So I'm trying not to cool them off quickly.
Okay. So there's that, and that you got to get – is it kind of a matter of you have to get the big guys going? You're
right. Yeah, we have to. I think that's a big piece of it, is for us to be the team that we want to be, have a chance to make it to the playoffs, and then make a run. Those guys are going to have to carry us, and they will carry us. And that's why they're at the top.
And Jackson obviously gives you the left.
Right. Yeah. Jackson's the lefty that kind of mix it in, and between the two big righties and one at the top.
He's always done, not always, he's had hits when he's up, but he does pretty well near the bottom.
I know.
I know there's a lot here. Because you think about it.
I know. But we've just had, anytime we've moved anybody up to the top, we've just had trouble, keeping them. Tati's been really the only one that's like taken to the leadoff spot and really produced there. The 2 holes probably, I don't know what our 2-hole average is, but it ain't very good if I had to guess. And then Manny's always going to be 3 or 4 and trying to fit bogey in there too.
You figure if they're in France and Andujar hitting down there, then why mess with that?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I think those guys getting on base at the bottom of the order puts people on base for the top of the order. And more guys we have on base when Fernando comes to play, the better off we are.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen earlier today in Kansas City. We'll hear more from Craig on our post-game coverage coming up later on this afternoon. Sam Levitt back with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing, a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
We look at 2 guys who you just heard Craig Stammen get asked about in the hot category, one being Ty France. Ty in the midst of a 5-game hitting streak, 7 for 15 with 2 home runs, a double, and 4 RBIs in that span. France hitting .318 with a 1044 OPS in his past 20 games. Miguel Andujar also in the hot category today. His last 11 games, he's hitting .400 with 3 hit games, 5 RBIs, and 5 runs scored in that 11-game span. The not category, Gavin Sheets really going through it right now. He is 0 for 21 in his last 6 games. Gavin back in the lineup today, playing left field and batting 5th. And that is a quick look at who's hot, who's not, as we get ready for game 2 of this 3-game set. Now let's take a look at some Major League headlines as we go around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Well, a few headlines for you before we get to some headlines around today's action. Aaron Judge had a scan of his fractured rib yesterday. It showed healing, but not enough for the Yankee to resume to baseball activities. Yankees manager Aaron Boone insisting the plan for Judge is still to return at some point this season. Judge has not played since May 31st. The Mariners hopeful that Julio Rodriguez will return tonight in Seattle. Rodriguez was put on the IL on July 3rd because of a concussion. A move we did not talk about yesterday that happened over the All-Star break. Astros trading Lance McCullers Jr. to Milwaukee. Brewers will use McCullers out of the bullpen. Some notes on today's game. Today, the Red Sox looking to win their 12th in a row. It would match their longest winning streak since 1961. Yankees looking to avoid losing 9 at Yankee Stadium for the first time since 2003 as they take on the LA Dodgers in what could be a pretty rainy night in the Bronx. Twins looking to go over 500 for the first time since April 22nd when they were 12-11. They've won 11 of their last 16. And finally, the Nationals have hit multiple home runs in 8 consecutive games, a franchise record. They're looking to become the first team today to do that, hit multiple home runs in a game in 9 straight games since the Astros did it in 2021. And that is a quick look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming your way in just a little bit. When we come back, we'll also hear from today's catcher, Freddy Fermin. First pitch coming up at 1:10 in Kansas City on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10 in Kansas City, game 2 of this 3-game series against the Royals. As always, our pregame coverage brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. That's 760-350-3338. Let's give you the latest on the Padres injury front.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at BadaFulkerson.com.
Now, some latest news on Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove, both still on the IL, but both threw an up-down bullpen session yesterday in Arizona, meaning they threw 15 to 20 pitches, sat down, then threw 15 to 20 more. So we'll see what the next steps are for both those right-handed starters, Pivetta and Musgrove. Jeremiah Estrada did pitch in a rehab game yesterday in Arizona in the Arizona Complex League season. So we'll see if there's an update in the days to come on Jeremiah. As you probably know, Padres without David Morgan, Jason Adam right now, Randy Vasquez on the IL, Samad Taylor as well, Lucas Giolito also starting to work his way back. So we'll get you updates as we have them on all those guys, but the latest updates, of course, on Pivetta, Musgrove, and Estrada, and Freddy Fermin, who we'll hear from in a moment. He was activated from the IL yesterday, got into the game late yesterday. He makes the start behind the plate in game 2 of this series here today. And that's a quick look at the injury news for the Padres on this Saturday. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
No, we have one final already today. Pirates beat the Guardians 7-1 in Cleveland. That was game 1 of a doubleheader. Game 2 of that doubleheader coming up a little bit later. Cubs leading the Twins 5-1 at Wrigley in the 4th inning. The Phillies over the Mets 2-1 in Philadelphia in the 2nd. White Sox and the Blue Jays are delayed before first pitch in Toronto. The Rockies lead the Reds 4-0 in Colorado in the 2nd. Everything else coming up a little bit later. Rays and the Red Sox at Fenway. Rangers and the Braves in Atlanta. Orioles and the Astros in Houston. Marlins in Milwaukee against the Brew Crew. Cardinals and the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Dodgers and the Yankees in the Bronx. Giants and the Mariners in Seattle. Nationals visiting Sacramento to take on the A's, and the Tigers against the Angels in Anaheim. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll have more on those games coming up a little bit later during our post-game coverage. Well, like we said, Freddy Fermin getting his first start off the IL here today. Freddie signed with the Royals a long time ago out of Venezuela, made his major league debut in 2022 with Kansas City, spent 22, 23, 24, and then part of 25 with the Royals before he got traded to the Padres. Very close with Salvador Perez, the longtime catcher in Kansas City. Freddie Fermin spoke with the media earlier about returning to KC.
What's it like walking in here?
I feel good. I feel great, Kansas City still, I feel like home. I feel and I remember a lot of talks, in the past. I feel good. I feel good being here and around KC people, and that's really cool.
This is always going to have a special place for you, isn't it, Freddie? I mean, this is where you grew up and first got to the big leagues. This will always have a special place in your heart.
Yes. Like I said, I feel good. Remind me a lot of memories, and be here in Kansas City. That's something special for me.
What are some of your favorite memories from Kansas City?
From when I was a minor, from when I get here, taxi squad. A lot of couple World Cups, I saw people around, met him before. Like I said, I feel good right here, something special.
Did you see Salvi yet?
Yeah, he texts me. Where you at? I said, I'm busy right now, bro. I'll see you later.
What will it be like to see him?
I for sure. I like to see everybody. I met a couple guys outside, and I feel like at home.
What kind of a mentor was he for you?
Yeah, Salvi, special. Outside of the field, in the field, I think I learned a lot from him. Now I'm here, I follow his work. I like how his work, and I feel great, and I have to. That's why I have respect to Salvi. I think it's a good mentor for me.
Freddie, how have you adjusted to San Diego since leaving the Royals?
San Diego give me an opportunity to keep playing what I love, the baseball. Really, really, really nice city, nice people. I feel good in San Diego, and try to do the best in San Diego, and just keep going, keep working hard, and thanks San Diego for giving me the opportunity.
Freddy, how important was this time off, this last time, to get a little rest this last week?
I didn't want, but that's part of the game. Trying to, like I said, try to do the best I can. That when the manager need me, I will be there. Try to be help to keep helping my team and keep doing and keep be better teammate and keep working hard. So day by day, and hopefully be healthy this next half.
You have not seemed to want to come out of any of these games, but how happy are you the team is trying to take care of you?
Yeah, I like that. I understand what they do. I understand that. I like to play baseball. We emotional sometimes, but I like that. Thank you for the Padres, like I say, for take care of me like that. And hopefully I don't get more foul balls and get hit like that. But that's part of the game. We got to continue.
That was Freddy Fermin before today's game, talking about returning to Kansas City. Freddy taken off the IL before yesterday's game and did get into the game late yesterday. Freddy dealt with that concussion earlier this year, was on the IL with what they called a head contusion. So it's been a little scary for Freddy, getting hit a lot on the mask behind the plate. Hopefully as few foul balls off the mask as possible moving forward. But good to see Freddy back in the Padres lineup here today as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. Let's give you our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Rock and Block Turf and Hardscapes. Beautiful artificial turf that stays green all year long. Trust and experience. The job isn't done until it's done right. See them at rockandblocklandscape.com.
Key number one, figure out the bullpen. The Padres bullpen was used heavily last night. 2 innings from Adrian Morejon. High-stress pitches for Mason Miller. Kyle Hart, Bradley Rodriguez also were used. Padres bullpen, no doubt about it. We spoke about it with Tony a little bit earlier. They are feeling the losses of guys like Jason Adam, Jeremiah Estrada, David Morgan on the IL. Padre relievers have posted a 6.5 ERA in their last 17 games. Kind of unfathomable considering how good this Padres bullpen typically has been. But they're feeling those losses. Yesterday had to use a lot of relievers in a loss. How do the Padres navigate that bullpen here today? That's key number one. Key number two, Merrill and Manny. Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, those two players went a combined 0 for 9 yesterday. Padres, quite simply, can't afford that most nights right now. Manny ended the first half, as we know, on a tear, hitting .345 while posting a .993 OPS in 8 games before the break. Hopefully, Manny back on track here today. Key number 3, don't let Bobby Witt Jr. heat up. I thought Witt took some, quite frankly, ugly at-bats last night. The numbers back that up. He's hitting just .216 in 12 games during July. Witt, as we know, an MVP caliber player. Don't let him get going. He was quiet last night. That's key number 3. And finally, key number 4. We saw this last night as well. The Royals have not played good defense lately. They've committed 28 errors in their last 42 games going back to May 29th. That's tied for the 5th most in the majors in that span. They made a big error last night that gave the Padres a couple of runs. So put the ball in play, put pressure on Kansas City's defense, and see if you can find a run or two that way in this one as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. When we come back, we'll take a look at one other Padre to keep an eye on in the lineup today. And we also have a full breakdown of today's starting pitching matchup between Griffin Canning and Randy Dobnak on the mound for Kansas City. First pitch coming up in just a little bit. We send things out to Jesse and Tony in under 10 minutes on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our Padres Radio Network studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10 in Kansas City. We'll talk about today's starting pitching matchup in just a moment. But right now, let's tell you what to watch for.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for in this one? Can Fernando Tatis Jr. find the power stroke today and in the second half in general? Tatis had 3 hits last night, but as you probably know, batting average has not been the issue for Fernando. He's hitting .323 in his last 46 games, but in that same span, he's only slugging .474, and Fernando Tatis Jr. does not have a home run in 13 games this month. So Fernando, the hits are great, but some power, some extra bases, some home runs would certainly go a long way for the Padres offense. Can Fernando find a little bit of that starting today in Kansas City? That is what to watch for. Now let's break down this starting pitching matchup. Couple of right-handers going at it. Griffin Canning against Randy Dobnak.
Let's break down how today's starters are shaping up with our starting pitching preview. Brought to you by Harrah's Resort Southern California and the First Down Sports Bar in Funner, California. Don't just watch the match, experience the glory. Head to Funner for every World Cup match to enjoy stadium-level energy and amazing specials at the best sports bar in SoCal.
Right-hander Griffin Canning on the mound for the Padres. The 30-year-old is 1-7 with a 6.47 ERA, 55 2/3 innings this season. Lost to the Diamondbacks last Thursday, gave up 2 runs in 4 2/3 innings. Last 3 outings have been better for him on the whole. 3.46 ERA in 13 innings. Canning notably has been great in his career against Kansas City, a 1.48 ERA in 5 starts against the Royals. All those starts as a member of the Angels. Meanwhile, right-hander Randy Dobnak on the mound for Kansas City today. Dobnak filling the rotation spot of former Padre Stephen Kolek. Kolek currently on the family emergency list. Dobnak last pitched on Wednesday against the Mets following an opener through 5 2/3 scoreless innings. He allowed 2 runs in 4 innings on July 2nd. So the results so far for Dobnak as a Royal have been pretty good. Dobnak spent most of his career in the Twins organization, stints in the major leagues during parts of 5 seasons going back to 2019. And that is a look at today's starting pitching matchup. Randy Dobnak on the mound for Kansas City. Right-hander Griffin Canning takes the mound for San Diego. As always, we appreciate you tuning in to our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Well, the Padres again come in 48-49, Royals at 39-59. Padres continuing this 10-game road trip. A tough loss last night in 10 innings. Can the Padres get things flipped in the right direction here today? We're going to find out. When we come back, we send things out to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Jesse Ackler, Tony Gwynn Jr. standing by, ready to go. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.